Waddles in the Deep by the American Red Cross. Are you ready for your swim lesson, Waddles? Asked Sophia Dog excitedly. I sure am, answered Waddles. I can't wait to jump into the deep water. Mr. Casey Condor, the American Red Cross instructor, greeted Waddles, Sophia, and the rest of the class. My name is Mr. Casey. Let's talk about some things we'll be learning. You'll learn how to jump in and dive into the pool. You'll also start to learn about the front crawl and the elementary backstroke. Everyone's eyes got big with excitement. Oh, yeah, they said. Let's review some of the water safety rules we've already learned, said Mr. Casey. Who can remember a rule? Mr. Casey asked the class. Waddle raised his hand and said, Swim with a buddy in a supervised area. That's right. Only go swimming when there is an adult who knows you are going to swim and is watching you, said Mr. Casey. What's another rule? Be cool, follow the rule, said Hatch Alligator proudly. Absolutely, said Mr. Casey. Another rule is, think so you don't sink. How many of you have seen someone get into trouble in the water? Eddie Elephant raised his hand and said, My cousin once got a cramp in her leg while she was swimming. That's a good example, said Mr. Casey. If you get into trouble in the water, always stay calm. When Eddie's cousin got a leg cramp, she should have relaxed and rubbed her cramped muscle. Mr. Casey, what if I see someone in trouble in the water? Asked Waddles. Ah, now that's another rule. Reach or throw, don't go. To be safe, either reach out from the side of the pool or throw a rope, ball, or large branch or anything that floats. Then get help. Remember, do not try to get into the water and rescue someone by yourself, said Mr. Casey. Let's practice. Being in the water and learning new strokes was Waddle's favorite part of swim lessons. Mr. Casey taught them strokes to swim on their front and back. Waddle was quite proud of his front crawl. As the students practiced, Mr. Casey helped them get better. They got better and better as they practiced more and more. But sometimes, Sophia had some problems making her legs cooperate. Now let's get into the deep end of the pool by jumping from the side, said Mr. Casey. Waddles was a bit nervous. He had never jumped into the deep end. He watched his classmates jump right in with a splash and swim right back to the side of the pool. On the count of 3, he thought to himself, I'll do it. 1, 2, 3. Waddles jumped into the pool and made a great big splash. He came out of the water with a huge smile. I did it! Waddles exclaimed. You can enter deep water another way, starting with your fingertips, followed by your head and the rest of your body. I'll show you how it looks, said Mr. Casey. Mr. Casey extended his arms over his head, squeezing his ears tightly, and entered the water with very little splash. He came right back up to the surface to the sounds of the children cheering. I want to try! I want to try! Everyone chanted. Everyone that is, except Waddles. Before anyone tries, let's go over some rules, Mr. Casey told the class. Obey all posted rules and no diving signs. Never ever enter head first into shallow water or above ground pools, he said. Okay, now it's your turn, said Mr. Casey. We're going to start off by sitting on the side. Everybody show me where you put your arms. All the kids lined up in a row at the edge of the pool with their arms by their ears and pointed towards the water. Everyone looks great. Now one by one, take your first plunge, exclaimed Mr. Casey. Each of Waddle's classmates entered the water, came up to the surface, and swam back to the side. Now it was Waddle's turn. He was a bit nervous, but Mr. Casey moved so that he was right beside Waddles. Mr. Casey told Waddles, Touch your fingers against my hands and follow them into the water. This made Waddles feel very safe, so he pushed off and entered the water, squeezing his ears as hard as he could. It was great! This was all he needed. He kept practicing. He could not wait until the day he could enter the deep water from standing on 2 feet. On the last day of swim lessons, everyone was very excited. On this day, they were going to show their parents how much they learned. The students proudly demonstrated the many different things they could do in the water. The parents cheered wildly. After class was over, Waddles and his mom were leaving the pool. With a happy and proud look, Waddles asked his mom, "When does my next swim lesson start?"